I'll drop that motherfucker.
Recorded from the heart of the Music City, Nashville, Tennessee.
What's his name? Fucking Shrek?
Hey man, every book is a children's book if the kid can read.
SoBros Network brings to you the SoBros Power Hour.
4 of us wolves running around the desert together in Las Vegas, looking for strippers and cocaine.
That's cute. I remember when I had my first beer.
Let the SoBrosNetwork.com team get you to your weekend faster.
I just don't know how to express myself sometimes when I need to be properly different.
This is the SoBros Power Hour podcast.
I'm going to Shabooms!
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
SoBros Nation, it is finally Friday. We are free again, getting our motors running for a wild weekend here on the SoBros Power Hour. It's been a minute, but we're back, baby. Mind's right, ass is tight. TGIF, we're almost to the weekend, and it's our job to get you there a little bit quicker. My name is Big Natural Stoney Keeley. You can follow me on Twitter at Stoney Keeley, collectively at SoBros Network on all major social media platforms. I forgot what I was going to say. I'm the EIC at SoBros Network. That's what I was going to say. Joined on this episode by our resident film critic. He is Mr. Big Shot himself, Brandon Vick. Brandon, TGIF, thank you for joining me this week. How you doing? You got any big plans lined up for the weekend?
I'm going out of town.
All the criminals that listen to this show are going to find your house now.
No. I have people still at my house.
Okay, I was about to say.
I'm going out of town.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm going to Cincinnati.
Is that right?
Yes, because I'm a huge Reds fan. And they
know
take
that.
on the Yankees, and Derek Jeter's starting.
Okay.
So
One more chance to see him play.
One more chance. That's what they say.
I respect that. That's
Yeah.
a good time. But you're going to get into a little bit of peace and quiet this weekend, aren't you?
Yeah, I hope so.
I love it, man.
I don't really know if that's such a thing when you're a father, but yeah.
Well, fair
I'll
enough.
try.
Yeah, fair enough.
If you surround yourself with more people, you can sometimes
oddly enough, is it like, do you just like get used to it? So like the sound is elevated and it all just makes for like a similar level that you can just kind of zone out, so to speak? Or is it like there's more people around so I can just dip out and...
It's not so much as dipping out, but it's almost like you can watch from afar. And
you're not as involved.
And like other people
Yeah.
who don't see him every day think this is cute or, oh, I'll do this. When Brittany and I deal with it on a daily basis.
Gotcha.
And so even when something happens, you know, like, oh, what Grammy's doing is not going to work, but fuck it, just go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just going to stay out of this because I don't have to.
Right,
I don't
exactly.
have to. Yeah.
Until the inevitable happens, and I hear my wife say, Brandon, or now it's Dada, and I know I'm like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll get like one of my wife's, like her youngest brother. I'll be like, hey, don't you want to go somewhere? Like, we should, we want to do something.
Yeah.
And even if he says, yeah, I mean, do you want to go down and shoot guns? I'm like, yeah, sure.
Do people say that? Do you want to go down and shoot guns?
Yeah. They do like to shoot guns.
Well, no. I'm saying I know that, but is that what it's called?
In this yeah, I guess.
They call it shooting guns.
Yeah. And he's a gunsmith now.
Really?
Yeah, he works on them and puts them together.
I'm not surprised.
I'm
Knowing
not
your
either.
brother-in-law.
That's really his that's his dream job.
I was about to say that feels like his calling.
And when he tells me about it, I don't have a fucking clue what we're doing.
It's a gun.
No clue.
We're shooting guns.
I always tell him that I shot a hand cannon once, which is what they call it, which I think is a sawed-off shotgun.
Where did you get a sawed-off shotgun?
Well, my old buddy Will.
Okay. Okay.
We went to his farm. I think it was someone's farm, but I literally remember firing different guns. And first, I always worried, like, is this going to be one like? I'm like, oh my God, that was awesome. And they're like, hey, your shoulder's been dislocated, and maybe I didn't feel it. But I remember firing off some kind of gun, and I turned around and was saying something in a kidding manner, but I was holding it like I'm going to shoot them.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Hey, man, you need to point that to the ground." And that's when I knew I really probably shouldn't do this.
Well, I remember we had a friend that used to carry a gun around for everything that we did.
Yeah. And it's like a kid. If he left it in the open,
yeah, you would.
I had my paws on it.
There was one time we were watching a wrestling pay-per-view for our listeners, just to paint a picture. So everybody's focused on the TV. Nobody saw you grab the gun.
Yeah.
But then at one point you said,
I think it was even still in the holster, maybe.
It was. I think it might have been.
I don't. Yeah. Who goes through the trouble of taking it out?
And then nobody saw you grab the gun because we're focused on the wrestling show. Yeah. And all of a sudden we just hear, "Hey, you guys want me to turn the lights on?" and just saw the gun out of the corner of our eyes pointed at the light switch. That was a good one. But not, couldn't top the other story where it's one of the best jokes you've ever pulled off, which probably could have ended with somebody getting shot.
Yeah.
But, nobody knew that you had the gun again. Yeah. Which
I'm very sneaky. Very sneaky.
Our friend eventually said, "I'm going to have to start leaving my gun in the truck."
Rightfully so.
But at one point,
that and liquor, he really can't bring out.
Again, nobody saw you grab the gun, but we just heard, "Hey, do you guys want some cheese? Do you guys want some Cheez-Its?" We turned over, and you had a box of Cheez-Its in one hand, and the gun in the other hand pointed at the top of the bottle of Cheez-Its as if you were going to open the Cheez-Its by shooting it.
Which it would have. To my understanding of guns, it would have.
That would have been.
I would have shot my thigh, maybe my balls, the couch, everything else.
Probably the guy in the apartment below us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I would have. Yeah.
Shitty Oakwell Farms apartments.
I would have killed Justin. Yeah. He was getting baked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which, looking back, there's a lot of stuff I did that I would still think is funny. But
what would your wife say to that?
Oh, she doesn't approve with. She doesn't approve a lot of stuff that I do.
Yeah.
And if she would have known me back then, she really wouldn't have.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I met my wife when I was almost 30.
Yeah.
I did a lot of stupid shit before I was 30. And she's seen some stupid shit since she's been here, since we've been together. But I kind of keep it on lockdown. And when you become a dad, you're kind of like, you know what? Okay. Like, I wouldn't mind telling my son some stories like later on for a good laugh.
Do you want to show him
the
Quinn Fidgel skit when he gets older?
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's innocent enough.
I'm proud of that.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of that.
Your wife was appalled by it.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't think she's surprised by it, but it's almost like, I don't know.
I don't think we can ever release that skit either. For one, production value was a lot different in 2013.
One, we wouldn't, just because it would require ridicule on many fronts.
I also think that we've got too many faces on that skit.
Yeah,
that can't put their face out there now.
Yeah,
that and the Lebanon Shark Tank, not Shark Taint. The Lebanon Shark Tank video that we did in 2013 can never see the light of day.
No, it can't. And, my wife still asks me about my backyard wrestling days. And I said, "Honey, those tapes were destroyed. There was a flood."
Yeah, they're
Never
all
saw them
moldy.
Again.
Yeah, I
Which is funny because I would show my son those just for pure laughs because I don't really remember a whole lot of them.
I would love to have them. I hated that they were lost because I don't think like the wrestling wasn't good.
No,
but
man, there were some promos.
I was about to say I do think we actually wrote some good promos and good.
Now there's probably some that I undeniably don't remember.
The best was when we would write with like a new character in mind. It's like, oh, our buddy, I don't remember who per se. We wrote this our buddy Brandon, another Brandon, that was supposed to be like a Goldberg-esque character. The name was just going to be Demand.
Is he a friend though?
Demand. Well, back then, Okay. Listen, he stood up for me at a football game once. When a guy
I think it is?
When a guy was trying to kick my ass, and I'll never forget it. So he is a friend in my heart.
Oh, okay.
Haven't talked to. I don't know if he's still alive or not, but
if
we
it's
wrote
the same person I think of, I always thought I would love to see him now, but I got a glimpse a handful of years ago and thought, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of how I thought it might go.
Well,
it's not necessarily a bad thing. I just mean, I think there was a certain persona, a certain image, and then he kind of let it go.
like you get out of high school.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you're not
and
that-
I mean, he's still the same guy, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but I did.
He was a really cool guy, really fun guy to be around. Back then, he was like, he was in really good shape back then.
Okay, I'm gonna say this is what's gonna be funny. I still don't know if we're talking about
We
the
might
same
not be.
person.
Yeah, he was a friend of a
Is his
friend's
last
older
name-
brother. Initials.
No.
We're not talking about the same person.
Nope.
So we wrote
Nope.
this whole story. This is great podcasting, by the
Yeah.
way. We wrote this whole storyline, and
He's
and
say that again.
he was a friend
friend?
of one of our friend Evan, that
Yes.
played the character Criminal in our Backyard Wrestling
Yes,
Federation.
yes.
Criminal with a K.
Uh-huh.
Criminal's older brother had a friend that liked wrestling.
Oh, yes. No, that's not who I was talking about.
You're gonna have to
No,
tell
and
me
he
who
might
you
be
were-
dead.
You're gonna have to tell me
He
who
might
you were
be
talking
dead.
about
No,
after we
it's
stopped recording.
no. His last name is C.
I still don't. It's not doing anything for me.
It's in the mix of the people you're talking about, though.
Okay, but
And he's married. Okay.
the
Oh, go
point,
ahead.
the,
yeah.
the
Go
point
ahead.
being,
Yeah, sorry.
the point being, we were so into our Backyard Wrestling Federation and like writing the stories. Like we never scripted matches
No, and
other
I-
than just like spots. Like I'm
No.
gonna do an elbow drop off the top rope at
Do
some
you know,
point.
most of the time it was sort of kind of the beginning and end, and then nothing else, and then throughout the match,
We just spam moves.
which one of our friends knows because he basically got hit with like a center block of cocaine,
Yeah.
right in his face.
That was a good moment too.
That was good.
We thought we were gonna do the powder in the face trick.
And it was solid as a rock.
And we used flour. And it was a hot summer night, and we put it in a little baggie in somebody's pocket.
Yeah.
And so it just
You
like
did not get the
melted.
effect that things were flowing
Just
in the
looked
air.
like you threw a rock.
It looked like I threw a snowball
Yeah.
that
So-
was packed with rocks.
So we never planned out any of the matches, but man, we would stay up until the wee hours of the morning, getting together,
For story
writing storylines, doing
That's
the
right.
booking, the matchmaking, and all this stuff. And we wrote an epic run for this character.
Yeah.
Demand. He's going to
Yeah.
come in and just wreck shit. It's going to
Yeah.
be Goldberg. We used to do shows like once a month. Well, you can't call them shows. We didn't let people in. It was just us with
Yeah.
a camera. But we did our matches.
What was it?
Once a
Rage
month.
and what?
Rage, Stardom,
Oh yeah, that's right.
and Metal.
Oh. I
Which
forgot about
Metal
Metal.
was the third show that was going to be like our Sunday Night Heat.
Oh. Well,
That-
let me tell you,
we filmed
Vader
two.
Vic
we filmed
wouldn't
two.
do on.
Yeah, we filmed 2 episodes of Metal.
Yeah.
And,
I did
um,
not remember that, but I
so-
still remember those logos.
Yeah, those logos were awesome. So we wrote 12 shows, a year's worth of storyline
Yeah.
to get Demand to the point where it was going to be him and our buddy Cliff.
Yeah.
Cliff was like main event draw, and that was going to be like,
Yeah.
that's our Rock Austin.
Some say I made him.
That's yeah, you did. That's our Rock Austin.
I
You know,
hope he-
like we're gonna have this is gonna be a huge fucking main event.
And because they were both like in wrestling sort of shape.
Yeah, they were, and it was, we didn't actually make money, but it was like dollar
No,
signs in our eyes.
no,
but
but
this is
yeah,
gonna be our
This
main
is going to
event.
get the ladies.
And then Demand never showed up to a
That is
single fucking
correct.
show.
That is correct.
Never
I will
one.
tell you,
Yeah.
during your story, I thought I don't remember ever fucking seeing him once, and that
So,
makes sense.
Yeah, we
That makes sense.
we wrote. Oh, I do remember the other.
Do you
the
think
other
if we
name.
had, you know what? I always think like that footage. Like I don't think I could watch videos of that now, and I don't think you, me, our buddy Steven, I don't think anybody would be that embarrassed.
No,
But
absolutely
would
not.
Cliff and Evan be embarrassed?
I don't know. I haven't
Cliff
talked
probably.
to.
I don't think Cliff would.
I haven't
And
talked
this-
to Evan in a long time. I don't know his disposition
I don't either.
on it anymore.
But I hope he remembers getting power bombed onto a fiery cardboard
Piece of cardboard.
box.
Yeah, it wasn't even a box. It
And
was
ended
just
up burning our friend Zach's trampoline, and
we
I had to give money.
Yeah, we had to pitch in and
He
and
actually
get a new
came to
one.
my front door
Yeah,
and asked me.
that's
But I just wonder, like, would people be? I think I can speak for Cliff and say no. I don't think
Cliff would be.
I don't know about anyone else.
Yeah.
Steven has a good sense of humor. I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
He was just a scrawny kid.
Yeah. And we gave him the run too.
Yeah.
Like we were generous.
I remember at a Survivor Series.
You and I would always find our way back to each other every few shows for another match.
And I'll be honest, I never strayed too far from the main event.
No.
I tried to hang on.
I don't
if
know.
I was a heel, I was all the way.
I don't ever remember. See, I felt like I put myself. We're talking about what big dicks we were in our backyard wrestling.
That's right.
I don't think you strayed too far from the main event.
No.
And I don't think I strayed too far from the mid-card title scene. Like I kind of felt like we were like Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah,
you know?
kinda.
Like it was like
there was a time where there was one title I didn't win, and a friend of ours won it and gave it to me. And I think I defended it once or twice, maybe, no, maybe I won it by cheating and then gave it to him.
That was the.
So technically, I was the champion, but then I just gave it away.
I remember.
It was a sweet belt. I'll tell you that.
I don't remember which one was it.
I don't know what we called it, but I'm pretty sure it's a European.
The European. That was the SKR title.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd won it.
And we had done, that was honestly our best run of backyard wrestling when we just did it on a stack of mattresses in my room.
Yeah. And our buddy Brett got tombstoned to hell.
Yeah.
By me.
Not tombstoned, it was oral plunge.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you called the tombstone. The oral plunge.
And what's even better is it retired him.
It did. And that was an awesome show, man. There are times that I think back on it like, man, if we had the knowledge that we have now back then.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, your wife probably never would have married you because all this stuff would be on YouTube.
No. I would be home alone, jerking off in between my cushions on my couch.
But
that's true.
But at the same time, I'm like, man, if we had known to like break this down, edit it a little bit better, and actually put it up on YouTube, I think it would have caught on.
But when we were doing it,
we would be AEW right now.
Do you remember where we would make the promos and literally have to pause, capture, play, pause, capture?
Yeah.
And we spent nights doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest. I remember I would kind of take offense because I remember at one of the WrestleManias that we had a few people watching. And they were borderline pissed because of how long it taken, because I usually didn't even wrestle till about midnight.
Yeah.
And then I remember at the time I thought, you know what? How dare you?
But
how dare you even say such shit?
Sitting on our back porch.
Then I think,
for 7 hours.
And especially given the age that we were, I kind of understand where you didn't think maybe your whole Saturday night would be that. And that maybe at some point you could go to one of your homes and just fuck.
It was also, the crowd consisted of mostly like wrestlers' girlfriends at the time.
And friends that either
did not give a shit at all. Yeah.
And then, but it makes me laugh now because I'm like, how dare you say that? And then I think now I'm like, would I have sat there for 4 hours watching that shit? Probably not.
But
especially if you think you're going to get some here later and maybe we're ruining it.
Well, yeah, and there was like later on in that stretch when like people just stopped showing up because, it's not worth their time.
Yeah.
But we had already...
Some people leave during it.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I got to go home. It's 11 o'clock. We're like, well... Bitch,
you gotta miss the main event, and then we'd fucking shoot off fireworks at 1 o'clock in the morning. We're like, Vader Vic just won the world title. We gotta shoot.
And have grown men in their underwear carry me out, and I could barely sit on a chair.
But I can remember the last show that we ever did was one of those WrestleManias, and we had a card that had 6 matches.
Yeah,
and it was booked so that I was going to be pulling double duty as 2 different characters, which was fine.
I know one. What was?
But then,
was it a tag team thing?
It was, yeah.
Or were you the same person in both matches?
I was supposed to be the same person in 2 matches. Okay. It was the tournament that we did.
Mm-hmm.
So actually,
I remember that.
Yeah, there were going to be there were going to be 8 matches that night.
No, I don't remember that.
And so we had this entire show drawn up.
Is this the Power Hour?
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
We're just, you know what?
I haven't done this since '96. So I'm just not sure.
We
what
haven't
I'm
done a
supposed to be
backyard
talking
wrestling
about.
pod,
Yeah.
so we're just going to let it fly.
Checks and championships.
That's right. Back from the dead.
There you go.
We had this 8-match card that on
Yeah.
paper looked fucking awesome. And then
What happened?
when we got to show day, we had 4 people that no-showed us, that just no-showed us.
Oh. You have a great memory.
And so what I did was just like rewrite the entire show, and I put myself in 4 matches as 3 different characters. So I was Stoney Nitro in 2 matches.
Yep.
I was Oxford Prowess in 1.
Okay.
And
It's
then
coming back to me.
And then I was the one of the Kentucky headhunters
Yeah.
in another.
I was gonna say.
And I tried to wrestle.
I want people who listen to this try to fucking piece that together. Don't even explain. Just
Yeah. I wrestled 4 matches that night, and I was so pissed that everybody no-showed us. And
Do you want to call them out now? I don't even remember who it was.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Okay. Are we still
Because
friends with them?
We're still friends with them.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's-
Never mind.
I was about to say something. Well, nobody listens to this show. I can say it.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, they sponsored our content
Refresh.
retreat.
God.
So,
No.
You know.
Understood.
we're still friends, of course.
Understood.
But we also had
Who is that?
we had a guy that
Oh,
was mad that he wasn't in the main event, and he no-showed.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, we had the guy that he was supposed to wrestle also no-showed.
Oh, well, now that worked out.
Yeah, but then we got that hole in
that-
the card.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
The guy that was mad that he wasn't the main event was
Yeah.
supposed to wrestle the guy that he had wrestled probably 1,000,000 times before, because nobody else wanted to
Yeah.
wrestle the guy that wanted to be in the main event.
Yeah.
So we
okay.
put them together,
Yeah.
and then they both
But-
no-showed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think I know
And
who we're talking
then
about. We do not see them anymore?
we do not. No.
Okay, yeah,
no.
all right. I think I know.
There was one of our friends, 5 people no-showed us.
Shit. This is
No.
getting
No.
sad. Sad.
The monster did show up that night, and it was just me and him in the
Monster.
ladder match. Your bodyguard.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm with
I
you.
thought he was one of them, but no, he.
No,
he no-showed.
I do remember him showing.
Yeah, our friend that.
He would be embarrassed today.
You think so? Yeah. I don't know. There's a part of me that thinks he's
Well,
just
you know what?
fuck it
you
about
know what?
everything.
I take that back, because I years ago saw video of like choke slamming and stuff. So maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
And then our friend that would go on to raise quite a bit of money for
Yeah.
the community, he
Yeah.
no-showed us that night too.
Yeah. Oh well. Fuck him.
Yeah. I mean, what's more important?
Right. Wow, you have a great
But
great
that
memory.
last show, that was what
But that was
what
me.
killed
That was me. That was a rematch, I think.
Yeah,
And
it was
I ended up,
you
which is
and me.
very uncommon, is the heel won,
the whole thing.
and
Yeah.
we never did anything else.
No, that was it. And we shot fireworks at 1:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
The
For the
last
heel, that won.
the last line that's ever on any of our recordings, if I'm not mistaken,
Mm.
is our buddy Zach, who wrestled 2 matches that night as well.
Mm.
Our buddy Zach saying Stoney's neighbors are going to be pissed.
Yeah.
And that's
No,
it.
that's
And then
how
it
it
goes
should-
out.
how
But
it should
that
go.
match, you and I wrestled, and it was probably the best wrestling finish we've ever booked. And I want somebody to use it in a real match. And I've put it out there to people before,
Yeah.
and they crack up hearing me describe it. But nobody's had the gumption to pull the trigger on it in an actual match. Do you remember how that match ended between the two of us?
I'm an old man now. Remind me.
So you're, for those that don't know, your finishing move was the Hogan leg drop.
That's correct. And I would do the big boot
and
then do the leg drop. I was committed.
And we protected that shit like it was the
Let
most
me tell you,
devastating maneuver ever.
Can I tell you, no matter if I know you now or I knew you then, people sold the shit out of it.
Yeah, and
I loved it.
And if I'm not mistaken, we backyard wrestled for about let's see, we started in, I think, 01 actually doing it.
Yeah.
And the last SHWF show, which stands for Stoney's House Wrestling Federation,
Yep.
the last SHWF show was in 2008. So it's like 7 years.
Wow.
And a lot of matches that, you know, aside from it being too cold in like December and January, like we were doing shows like every month back then. And most days we would do 3 shows in a day to have stuff to record and keep for later, which is so stupid. Like, this is all so stupid.
And it's all on VHS. That's what I love.
But in 7 years, if I'm not mistaken, nobody ever kicked out of that leg drop.
No one?
I don't think.
I think the not the last, but the second to last WrestleMania, I think our buddy
the main event one.
I think he kicked out.
Then it only happened twice.
I think.
I thought
maybe I missed it.
I don't think. I don't think he kicked out. I think you did it, and then
I didn't do it. I didn't pin.
And then somebody came out to interfere.
Sorry. Okay.
Because if I'm not mistaken, the finish of that match was your bodyguard comes out, helps,
and then you come out,
and then you do the leg drop, and then I come out, and I don't think, I don't think he ever kicked out.
I'm going to tell you something. I hope that's true, that no one ever kicked out of this lame ass leg drop that I would do
until the very last show we did, and the match between you and me.
Oh, you did kick out.
You hit me with this leg drop,
yeah,
and the crowd was hot. You know, at this point, we were the second.
It's only 9 o'clock.
We were the second, or I think we were the second match.
Yeah,
I think the other semifinal was first, and
we gave some breathing room.
And then the idea was that we could rest before the last 2 matches.
Yeah.
But so the crowd was still into it.
Oh, okay.
And you hit that leg drop.
It's like 7.
You hit that leg drop, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's nobody kicks out of the leg drop." So then you pin me. And just as the third hit is coming down, I kick out, and then everybody's like, "Oh my God, he kicked out of the leg drop!" And then you just went and got a steel chair, hit me in the head with it, and pinned me, and that was the match. And that was the match.
I mean,
if
you are the only one
funny
to kick out, you know what's weird?
Fucking funny.
I think we just talked about this not that long ago.
Yeah.
When we were talking about how we would like just wrestle, and then we would just like we would kick out of finishers all the time, but then someone would like do a clothesline, and then we pin them, and then like that was it. No one ever got up.
Well, Brett's gimmick was fantastic because you would pin him and he would kick out. Yeah. So then you pin him again, and he would kick out again, and then if you pinned him the third time, he would stay down for the 3. That was so funny.
Until the oral plunge.
Until the oral plunge,
you can't kick out of that.
But that WrestleMania match, I still I want so badly for somebody in indie wrestling to pull that off, where you kick out of this move, so you think it's this big triumphant moment, but then we just pulled the rug right out from under everybody. You literally
this day and age, you would think the face, the good guy, would then start to his comeback, but instead, I just used an illegal object, and then that's what we did.
You hit the leg drop. I kicked out, and you just rolled out of the ring. You grabbed a steel chair. You got back up. At the same time, I'm coming to, and I turn around and just bam, right in the face. I get hit with the chair, and I'm down. I'm down for the count. 1, 2, 3. It was the coolest.
And the ref didn't see.
The funniest. Well, it was no DQ.
Oh, okay. All right. So no one gave
So it was just the funniest fucking wrestling finish. I want somebody to use it so bad.
I will say the one thing I kind of take pride in is I never was a good guy. Ever.
Never. And people tried to say, like, well, let's give you a good guy run because it would be different.
Yeah, but I didn't want it.
But I don't know that it would have worked.
And I also, I guess, in the big scheme of things, I did play politics because I did stay around the main event most of the time. Yeah. Even as things came to an end, I was going to be revealed as this leader of some kind of NWO type thing, which never happened, but that's all right.
Yeah.
Ryan McDonald got an ass whipping, though. I don't know if he's listening, but got an ass whipping.
Did he?
Yeah.
When?
When things kind of fell apart for the initial one, and I'll never forget our buddy, who may or may not be an accountant now.
Oh, yeah.
Told me at lunch.
Yeah.
That it was basically over and that I have that to think about. I remember him telling me at lunch about that. I remember thinking, And then later, months go by, and I decide I'm going to go watch WrestleMania at this friend's house. And then it's sort of pitched to me that I could kind of be the like hitting guy, and like
The
I
higher
would be
power
revealed.
for fans of the Attitude Era.
So I'm like, oh, good, I'm back in main event now. Anyway, it never happened.
It never happened because that was
There's footage of me trying to bring in
Yeah. It was, but that was also like,
but that night
it was so disorganized.
But that night, it was kind of like Hollywood Hogan was a thing.
Yeah.
And I remember, I think I had some belt or something. Anyway, I actually hit Ryan. I actually hit Ryan with it. And and I think back, like he could have probably just like punched me in my teeth and been like, "Hey, this isn't right."
Like he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, no, he was confused. That's the only reason I can sit here and tell you about it with my real teeth in my mouth is that I think he was confused, and what he would consider friends were holding him down while I was doing it. Yeah. Anyway, he was naked.
Was he? That whole thing only lasted a few shows, and then we moved. That was 2003.
Yeah.
We moved out to Gladeville and our buddy Heath's place, and that's when they kind of like.
And I only wrestled
they
once,
gave me
I
the
think.
pencil. They gave me the pencil for that, and I felt like that was some of my best stuff.
Yeah.
We put together some really good shows then.
And I think I only wrestled once. I wrestled a buddy of ours, and
But
if
you
he
had a
beat
great
me,
match. You had a great match.
he would go on to take on the guy I managed, and I think it was the only thing, which I didn't mind it.
Yeah, it was a well-crafted story.
I
That
don't
was
know if I
also.
I don't know if I like too many of them now, but
That was also the show that I face planted.
yes,
And
I
that was,
do remember that. Oh my God! Yes.
Oddly enough, I don't think it hurt worse than the elbow drop that I did,
Yeah.
where I lost like where I was going and just slammed into the ground. But
Well, you know what mine is, and I really do need to take Cliff to court.
the wrist,
Yeah.
he tried to gorilla press slam
Yeah,
you.
he threw me off, and I don't do that. I
Yeah.
never do things like that.
Explicitly
And I
tell
hurt-
people
yeah,
I'm not doing
No,
that stuff.
and I hurt my wrist. We had buddies that would literally do anything, and I thought, go ahead.
Thumbtacks,
Yeah.
barbed wire,
Yeah, not me.
yeah,
Leg drop,
leg drop, velocity,
and you stay down.
the raptor's claw.
And and that was
The
a
raptor's
risk. Hey,
claw,
that was a
yeah.
risk.
I
How
don't
many
remember,
people do you think have stopped listening?
I don't. People, probably quite a few.
Yeah,
I don't know if
it's
they've given
fine.
us
No,
this
it's
long.
fine.
Do you want to talk about Hickory Hollow Mall? Let's talk about Hickory Hollow
Oh,
Mall.
can we? Oh
Yeah.
my God! What
So
a
it-
heaven it used to be.
It came out recently that they were going to demolish it. They're going to
Some
rebuild
global
something
mall
else.
bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't care about that.
But we've kind of lost, to me, like part of what made growing up in Nashville in the 90s.
Yeah.
I don't want to say unique, like nobody else had malls, but I think it's a bonding
the
it's a
place.
bonding point for old
Yes.
Nashvillians. Like we can think back to the days of Hickory Hollow and Rivergate Mall, and
Booming.
those are never going to be the same again, obviously. But
No,
even Rivergate, I don't know what's even in Rivergate anymore.
I don't know.
But Hickory Hollow Mall for me, sorry, I'm getting choked up.
Oh my God! You get so emotional.
Hickory Hollow Mall was the place that we went to shop if we needed to go shop.
Yes.
Because growing up out in Gladeville,
Do you even remember
And-
taking the back
you
way?
take the back way over the lake and then cut through. There was so much stuff in Hickory Hollow. And I'm not talking about just the mall, but
No.
back then it was like, you had the media play out there.
Yep.
You had the Toys R Us.
Yep.
There's the Target is
Bell
still there.
Forge.
Bell Forge.
Movie theater.
Yeah, man, I forgot
Remember
about
that
the
Just
movie
for Feet?
theater. Yeah,
You
Just
could-
for Feet with the
You could
basketball
shoot,
courts.
That's right. You could shoot ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And
then
I used to work at that media play.
yeah, you did. Brought back a lot of posters that were up on my
Yeah.
wall as a teenager.
I remember getting some kick-ass stands from Pirates of the Caribbean, the Curse of
displays.
Black Pearl.
Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah, it was awesome. Now, you could not compete with Target and Best Buy because it was like $30 for one that someone's doing for $15.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it was cool for the 10 months I was there.
Yeah. So which it's so crazy because I guess when you're young, it feels like you were at Media Play forever.
It does, only because I remember telling him I was taking a break because it was during Christmas, and I remember going home and telling my parents I didn't really intend to go back. And I will tell you, I never went back.
How about
I didn't
that?
tell them that I quit.
Yeah.
I just said, with school, I'm taking a break, and I never went back.
Yeah. Well, that's better than what I did with the General Jackson.
Yes, I love that story. And you know what's so weird? I literally thought about that the other day because I went to Opry Mill to see a movie and passed the General Jackson, and I still think about when, like, how just the
panicked.
uniform and everything. Yeah, it was a total panic moment.
Yeah.
And you're literally in your outfit acting like you had to go take a piss, and you just went home. And I just thought, what did the other people think?
I got the job.
Was it one of those like on a field trip where they're like, holy shit, where did he go?
So there was one girl that we knew. I don't remember who she was friends with, but she was connected to our social circle, like a friend of a friend that we saw at like parties and gatherings and stuff.
Yeah.
And she was in the training class with me. And I remember after that incident happened, seeing her at parties again after that, and she would not talk to me. So I feel like
you left General Jackson.
I feel like it didn't go over that well. But yeah, I do feel bad for our buddy Mac because we had accepted that job together, and then he basically went and did that job that summer and actually made a ton of money doing it. But I just panicked because in theory, being like, I mean, I was a college kid. Like I didn't know how these things would reflect upon me. I didn't understand it. And in theory, like the interview, it sounded great, but then I'm so self-conscious back then of like how I look. I show up to orientation and they put this stupid looking, it looks like the puffy shirt from Seinfeld, and it's like a waiter's outfit. And I put it on and I'm looking in the mirror and I'm just like, you look like such a fucking loser, Stoney. This is so stupid. You can't be seen in this. And then the thought of like going through the training, introducing myself, all that. I'm introducing myself to like 40 people and we're talking about it and our trainers are going over what we're going to do. And I'm sitting there the whole time thinking like, I can't do this.
Yeah,
I can't do this for people. So I went up to my trainer and I said, excuse me, can you point me to the restroom, please? And she said, yeah, I just go out this hallway, make a left. And then I went out and I made a right and went for the door. And I'll never forget running out of the building because I didn't want anybody to catch me.
But you know what the best part of this whole story is you got a check.
I did get a check. That was kind of wild. I wanted to give it back to him.
I love it.
I didn't earn this. Like just
someone kept up with that.
Yeah,
and
I kept the uniform too.
$4.
Yeah.
Oh well.
And we used the uniform in our backyard wrestling federation for a chef gimmick. Yeah, so that was my my General Jackson story. So it's not anything like that you did to media play.
No, but I will say it was a big deal. Hickory Hollow, there was a Toys R Us there that was very popular in our day. KB Toys, that was actually in Hickory Hollow Mall.
Man,
Athlon Sports, where you get the headliners. The food court fucking was awesome.
The arcade, you get to go in sometimes. Yeah. And I remember once I started getting a little bit older, like Spencer's Gifts, you couldn't beat it. Gadzooks.
Oh, yeah.
It was awesome. You get those shiny shirts
my God,
that only wrestling fans like.
Yes. I had a couple, and I remember getting these pair of white dice that had money signs on them.
Ooh.
That I hung from the mirror of my Dodge Neon ES that was a burnt orange.
Damn.
That had a license plate on the front of it that I had personally made as a Brock Lesnar logo that said, "Here comes the pain."
We were so fucking hard.
Man, I got some puss.
But Hickory Hollow Mall,
for
me, like, that was where we went when we needed something.
Yeah.
But also, man, those were our Friday nights in my family growing up.
Yeah.
Like, my dad would get home from work. It was just the three of us, me and my mom and my dad. My dad would get home from work. We'd all hop in the car. We'd go out to Hickory Hollow. We'd get a pizza at Sir Pizza. And then if I was good, if I had allowance left over that week, I would beg, and we'd stop at Toys R Us. Sometimes we could stop at the mall and I could go into KB Toys. But my parents always I think they always kind of knew it was a trap, that if we went to the mall, we wouldn't just go to KB Toys. We'd have to go to Suncoast.
That's
and
fair. Oh,
everywhere.
yeah, Suncoast.
Yeah, so rarely got to go to the actual mall, but the Toys R Us out there on a Friday night. And then, man, I'll never forget it. Like, those are childhood memories. You come
Absolutely.
home on a Friday night, that feeling of school's out for the weekend. I just got a new action figure, so I want to get all my wrestling toys out and have a big show. And it was, I don't know, man. Like, there's part of me that's like, I get that Nashville has other things now that are probably better for people to enjoy.
Yeah,
but
and that area just has not, I mean, 15,
over time,
20 years hasn't really delivered on anything. And I think people would be
gotten kinda run down.
stunned
Yeah.
that, you know.
That's another weird thing to think about as we get older is like how much stuff changes over time. Like, you and I can remember when Hickory Hollow was like a bright, vibrant area, and now it's like, I don't really want to drive through that part of town if I don't have to.
It's been like that for a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, just as a movie guy, Bell Forge was like the second or third theater that had stadium seating.
Yeah.
Like, I remember going.
It's wild.
And I mean, I don't know. And it's just, it is kind of sad, but at a point, it's like it hasn't really been giving that kind of joy in a long time. Like, Toys R Us, I remember becoming a Best Buy, which is still kind of cool. Then it became, I don't know what it is. The last cool thing I saw, and I think it used to be the old Pier 1. It was right next to the mall.
Yeah.
Had been a ton of shit, but I think maybe Slim and Huskies is still there.
And
I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they were trying to do something with it. But yeah, man, I mean, there's just so much that, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of tragic in a way because I'm the same way. Maybe not Friday night, but like Saturday during the day, we would go, your mom, my mom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They would take us. We would go find action figures and everything. We had to switch Hardy Boys one time because mine had a scratch.
Heaven forbid.
Heaven forbid. But yeah, I mean, it was the spot. Like, it's kind of like what I guess Cool Springs or something is now. Like, I mean, if you wanted it, that's where you went. And that was the closest, I think, from if you lived in our side of town anyway.
You're a father now, so I want to ask you with an added perspective. Do you ever think about the fact that, like, your son won't get to go to, like, toy stores, like Toys R Us and KB Toys anymore?
You know, sometimes, like, I think about that, but you know what? I actually kind of think more about, like, and this kind of goes into the same kind of nostalgia stuff, is that, like, he won't know how cool it was to go on a Friday night to a video store.
Oh, yeah, that too.
What you did.
Yeah.
But yes, I do kind of agree. And you know what I think
obviously
about?
He'll find his own things.
There will. Yeah, it'll probably be cigarettes. But
but it's still kind of jarring to think about how old we're getting.
But here's the thing. This is what's crazy to me, and I literally was there today. There's reports, and I don't know if my son will grow up and he will be able to go to a store and get a Blu-ray movie.
Yeah.
It will be a time where everything of that nature, physical media, will be ordered online.
Yeah.
And I don't think they'll know what Best Buy was like. I think Target is entering it from what I hear from by next year. They won't be selling stuff, which if you go in there now, their movie section is pretty pathetic. So I'm like, between trying to like, and that's just the stuff I like. Now, obviously, there's other things. I mean, they do have toys and stuff. But, you know, I look at wrestling figures today. I mean, I'll send you pictures of like, oh, look at this one and stuff.
Yeah.
But, dude, they're like $20 fucking. And I'm like, what has changed? Because they haven't gotten any better.
No.
So there's a lot of stuff like that. And I think when it comes to a mall, and I don't even know if a mall is going to be a mall by the time he gives a shit about going to it.
Yeah.
I mean, I really don't. I think we're kind of in the outlets part, right? Everything's outside. Yeah. Some stuff looks cool, but I mean, I don't know, man. There's just nothing like
I'm curious.
Some of, like in Antioch, Tennessee.
There was a smell too.
Yeah,
there was a smell like the fresh new plastic.
Yeah, and Bell Forge. I remember in Bell Forge, like renovated.
Yeah,
and they had the new carpet and everything. But you could, and I forgot about Suncoast. I used to buy some stuff from there, pre-order stuff.
There is still a Suncoast at the mall in New Jersey.
Oh, okay. I was
Wait,
say,
were you with us when we went?
Yeah. I was going to say,
we went to see Morbius.
Yeah, okay,
and then that mall is the last remaining Suncoast.
We went in there.
Yeah.
Bought
a Funko Pop in there.
Yeah.
Because they're tied with FYE.
I don't know. Like but it's also had to change with the times, and so it's not really what I remembered or what I really enjoyed. That's like FYE.
Yeah.
I mean, they go out of business so damn quick, to be honest, in this state. I don't think, I think the Opry Mills one's gone. I know the Cool Spring one's gone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you have Amazon. That's basically what we're down to is Amazon.
What was your go-to at the Hickory Hollow food court? Growing up for me, it was the only place I could get Panda Express. And they would give you the samples.
Yeah.
I remember this is going to gross people out.
I remember that.
My dad loved Sbarro. And he would get the meatballs, the spaghetti and meatballs, and then his burps on the way home would smell so fucking bad. I'm scarred for life from the Sbarro meatballs.
I would say, I'll be honest, I remember kind of what it looks like. I don't remember everything that's in it. If it involved pizza, probably.
It was one of the few places.
There a Taco Bell?
There was a Taco Bell.
That's probably it. Then.
And it was one of the few places, like back then, I don't know that there was a spot. I don't remember standalone Chick-fil-A's. I don't know if
I
don't know if I'm accurate on that or not, but I feel like Chick-fil-A's used to only be in malls back in the day.
That's probably, I mean, back then, probably.
So those are the things that I remember. Panda Express, my dad's meatball burps, Taco Bell, and Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But I would always...
Taco Bell and Sbarro. That's probably right.
I'd always go for Panda Express,
Was there a Wendy's in there?
Might have been. I don't remember.
I just feel like it's burgers or pizza or tacos.
Yeah. Rivergate, I think, had the Petros.
Yeah.
Where you had like the little cup with the chili and the chips and all that stuff. Yeah.
God, I haven't even been in that area in so long.
Yeah, I haven't either. I'm
afraid to look.
It's changed. It's part of our childhood that's gone. I did have some Nashville stories prepared for this week's show, but we've already been talking for 46 minutes. So we're going to I do, because you're a big Cheekwood fan. I do want to talk about the Trolls.
Okay. Yeah.
The Trolls exhibition from Thomas Dambo is going on May 2nd through September 1st. So all summer you get to go out there. Yeah. Trolls Save the Humans by Thomas Dambo features 6 young trolls who have noticed that the small people, which is what the trolls call humans, are disconnected from nature and have started harming the planet. The goal of the tribe is to help the humans rediscover nature and inspire them to be good stewards of Earth. A unique outdoor installation, the Trolls exhibition blends art, nature, and messages of sustainability. 6 giant trolls are intertwined with Cheekwood's unique gardens, trees, and historic landscape for a one-of-a-kind storytelling experience. So, like, they've posted a photo with it on Cheekwood's website. Looks pretty cool. It's another excuse to go to Cheekwood, and that's all I need.
Yeah. No, I actually I follow them on social media, and I saw a thing, and we actually thought about going to it last month, but I realized it didn't start until, like, Friday.
Started
today,
now.
Right?
Yeah, today.
So I think we're going to try and make that a Mother's Day trip.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
And I didn't know this, but on Saturdays, they have a lot of different things in the morning for kids. Like
how about that?
Story time and talking to the turtles, which I didn't even know they had turtles, but then the trolls will be out there. So I'm actually trying to go in the next week or so. But I was actually excited. I felt that troll thing was pretty neat.
It looks pretty cool.
I'm a big fan of Cheekwood. I've gone to the pumpkin thing. I've done Christmas. It's a beautiful spot. And, I mean, listen, that and the zoo,
Summertime in Nashville.
I could go to all the time. I really
Summertime in Nashville is coming up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now that we've wasted 48 minutes of your time.
It was literally people listening about backyard wrestling.
Yeah. But
I see why I only show up on Power Hour every 16 years.
But it's an episode that's been in the chamber for a while. We needed to get that out.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
we needed to share our ideas
yeah.
with the world.
Well, let's be honest. No one can really talk about like you and I.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was
around for years and years.
Kind of a nice trip down memory lane, talking about backyard wrestling and when we were teenagers in Hickory Hollow Mall.
And I think what's really cool about all of this is that it makes you think about all the friends we don't have.
Yeah, all the people we don't talk to anymore.
Yeah, that's nice.
Absolutely. Well, Brandon, let people know what you've got up on SoBros Network now, what you're working on, and where people can find you on social media.
I have the Cinema Chronicles for April. That's up and going anywhere you get your podcast. I got a VixFlix special edition of Challengers, one of the best films of the year so far. A lot of movie review rewind podcasts and articles. So, listen, if you got time, just check it all out. On Twitter, I'm at Sir Brandon V. On Letterboxd, Sir Brandon. Follow me if you can find me.
And I'm at Stoney Keeley on Twitter, at SoBros Network on all major social media platforms. Check out all of our work at SoBrosNetwork.com. All of our merch is up at SoBrosShop.com. And you can get premium content, all of my NFL draft coverage year-round and Tennessee Titans coverage on Stacking the Inbox with a little sprinkle of SoBros Network on Saturday. This Saturday, tomorrow, you're going to be getting a new episode of the Movie Review Rewind podcast. Brandon and I will be talking about The Cooler, a fun little movie that slipped through the cracks back in 2003. $5 a month gets you instant access. It's an incredible value. I hope you'll come join us there. Rate, review, subscribe to the SoBros Power Hour wherever you take in your podcast. We ain't too hard to find out in these internet streets, baby. Once again, he's Mr. Big Shot Brandon Vick. I'm Big Natural Stoney Keeley. Until next time, you stay classy and have a good weekend, Nashville.
Yeah.